Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm sure it's been an intense day of long conference sessions, but I appreciate the time that you're taking to come here for the last session. Today, I want to show you on how AI can transform a terminal from a blunt yet powerful tool into an intelligent assistant which understands context and accelerates our workflows. So, how many of you spend most of your day inside a terminal window? Nice to see a show of hands. I do as well. I feel like that's the place where developers feel fastest and most productive. And now imagine if the terminal could think with you, just like instead of executing commands, it could reason, suggest, and automate some workflows powered by AI. But before we jump in, a little bit about me. I'm Aditya Gidh. I'm a software engineer at IBM Research, and I've been working with web engineering and DevOps during my time there. My goal today is to show how AI powered CLI apps can help transform your workflows with some live demos to prove it. So why CLI? I feel like the command line interface has been a trusty sidekick for decades. It's so fast, scriptable, automable, it's everywhere. And we usually think of the terminal as a simple place to execute commands and scripts. But I'm really challenging you to think the way, what if your terminal could think? I mean, who here has spent hours trying to stare at a cryptic traceback, trying to figure out why a script failed? Or just manually sift through bunch of server logs, grep through them, or even eyeball patterns to see what went wrong. I think we've all been there. And it's that kind of tedious, frustrating times that make you to think, what if you could automate all of this? Or what if there was a better way? And I'm not trying to replace the tools that we all love, the terminal. I'm trying to augment it by using AI. And in this talk, we'll explore on how AI can live there right in the terminal, helping you automate your repetitive tasks, fix different complex code, and even make better decisions as you go along the way. So let's try to explore why this combination is so powerful. In my opinion, I feel like CLI-based AI apps are really game changers because they help you towards innovating something new and help you boost your productivity as well. And we'll start with why AI belongs in the terminal and then cover building some of these tools, jump into a live demo where I'll make some changes, and then I'll share some adoption tips, and we can also peek at the future. So how do we build these tools? Let's dive in. So integrating AI into CLI apps is actually simpler than you might think. And many of these tools are built using standard libraries and frameworks that are already out there. You can use Python or Node.js, and we do have Click for user-friendly CLIs, ArcParse for simplicity. With JavaScript, you can use Commander.js. And it's almost in few lines of code, then you can add a wrapper around this CLI to create your own automated workflow. In addition to that, we can also tie in APIs for providers like OpenAI or Anthropic, or even have your local models deployed in such a way that helps you to get the best result. And how does this all work under the hood? I have a small mermaid diagram here which tries to abstract all of that in this slide, but let's walk through it. So it's not magic to begin with. It's a well-defined workflow, much like any other software application. And key steps are powered by AI, but the first step involves starting with the user. That's where the input comes in. That's your command. You type something in. An example could be you're using a log analyzer for parsing server logs, getting recommendation on what field. So you're just typing in a command like log analyzer, the file name, and the AI does the rest. And before we send this to an AI model, it's about getting the data ready to send it to AI. So this is the pre-processing stage, the data transformation stage. And in terms of log analyzer, this could involve sending in a log file, a huge log file, breaking that into small manageable chunks so that the model can understand it. Or if it's a web accessibility auditor, you could have the website's HTML and DOM fetched, pre-parsed, and send it to the AI. The stage where the magic happens is the AI core, the inference step. And we take our pre-processed data, send it to the AI model, usually via a secure API. And this is the stage where the AI thinks. Maybe it's analyzing your log data for anomalies, or it's evaluating your HTML against the web content accessibility guidelines. The AI is doing the heavy lifting here. And once you get a response back from the AI, it's almost like in raw text or JSON. So you need to parse it beautifully for the user because any person wanting to use a CLI AI tool wants the response to be neatly presented to the end user. So you could have your product manager use it, your other developers use it, and makes it easier. So in the interest of time, I'll jump to the demo. So I have like a small POC tool built out here, which does three things. I have tried to condense the tool into doing three things. The first one it does is like a log analyzer, wherein you feed in the file and it prints out the anomalies in the logs. Now, this is not a production ready application because this demo is just 15 minutes. So I've kept a customs rules engine that I go through, and we'll walk through every individual command that we try to go here. So the rules engine is set in such a way that I have three commands that get executed. So I can just do AI. It's called the AI CLI. So if I do a dash dash help, I see we have three commands here. The first one is a log analyzer, which analyzes server logs for anomalies and like anything that comes through in the logs using AI. I'm using a .zip file there, and I'll get to the commands and the demo in a bit. The second one is the webperf auditor, which is the web performance auditor, wherein we're analyzing website performance using some AI-driven recommendations on the site's URL. And the third one is a web accessibility auditor, wherein we're auditing the website accessibility against the web content accessibility guidelines. So for all the three, I've set some rules engine just to keep the demo small and also containable in the time here. And who here is familiar with LangChain and Olama? Nice to see some hands. So I guess we already started up 50% through the demo here. So LangChain is a framework that you can use to build apps using LLM models. And Olama is an open source tool that you can use to run LLM models on your local machine. So moving to the demo itself, I have AI CLI webperf and a URL attached out here. And I'm using the NYMag side as the URL to see the website's performance is really bad and could deserve some improvements. So I also maintain a cache every time I run the URL. So because I didn't want the Wi-Fi to fail me at this demo, I have already ran the URL and cached the value. So it'll be pretty quick. So if I run this, I see this is my rules engine that I already put in. And this is based on some industry standards. But in production applications, you will be using definitely Lighthouse or Google's Page Speeds Insights API to make this happen. And in orange here, you see that the AI suggested a bunch of stuff that could be improved on NYMag's side. And if you look at the site itself, if you try to run it over like slower networks, you could see it, like these things can really improve the performance. Jumping to the web accessibility auditor. So this is a W3org website, which is intentionally badly designed to show why accessibility is needed as a part of your dev workflows. So I'm using that site as an example here. It also uses a customs rules engine based on some web content accessibility guidelines. So I'm going to run that command through, and I get printed in orange a bunch of things that should change or that should make this website accessible. So you could extend these workflows to bigger sites, your local host demos, adding your custom rules engine based on whatever content guidelines your company follows. Just going to clear the terminal a bit and show the demo on the log analyzer. So I have a .zip file which contains three different log files, but not a lot of lines of code because we're trying to keep the demo small. And here we are scanning in the file, attaching the path name to the file. Once we run the log analyzer out here, I can see a bunch of anomalies being found. So these are like set on some rules engine that I'm using. So if I show the previewed prompts out here, before I go to that, I can show I'm using the IBM's Granite 3.3 model out here, and I'm running the Olama on a separate terminal as well. So if I preview the prompts here, the prompts are pretty big. So that's why we're getting like nicely printed out results for every command that I'm running through. So this is the log analyzer prompt. These will be available later in the slides. And this is the web performance auditor prompt, wherein I showed you the customs rules engine that I maintain, and the AI returns me like different results in a certain proper formatted way. And then we have the web accessibility prompt. That's a huge one as well, but it's using certain different web accessibility content guidelines just to keep the scope small. So this demo is just trying to keep the scope small, but once you try to extend it to your workflows, I'm sure we're going to add different rules as a part of our business requirements. And I'll jump back to the presentation so that we can complete on time. Yeah. So in terms of future enhancements, I'm not telling you to build like an AI agent from day one. You could like start with small helpers, which are things like log summarizers, or even like documentation searchers or like test generators. Think of AI CLI tools as your domain specific muscle helpers, almost like a pair programmer that works with you while you're trying to code some stuff. And you could tailor these workflows to you could tailor these AI CLI tools to your workflows, not the other way around. And because you're already in your terminal, I feel like the adoption will be frictionless and it feels natural. So I feel like looking ahead, AI CLI tools will evolve in such a way wherein we'll get multimodal inputs in, wherein you could pass voice commands or even like image analysis as a part of the terminal. And then you could have deeper integration with AI agents as a part of that setup. Wouldn't that be cool wherein a terminal predicts your next command or even auto generates your debugging across distributed systems? I mean, I'm excited for like trying out certain tools or even helping to build them. So in terms of call to action and conclusion, I feel like we've only scratched the surface of what's possible out here, wherein your terminal could not only suggest code, but also understand your project's code base or even help you navigate different complex architectures. And I'm really curious on like how we can enhance this workflows. And I feel like the command line isn't going everywhere, isn't going anywhere. So it's a foundational tool in our workflows. And I feel like when you integrate it with AI or add a new feature, we are creating a more intelligent, proactive way to work. And I feel like the first step is always the hardest. So you could start with a small tool which solves a specific pain point in your workflow and try it out, experiment with it, and we can like push the boundaries together. Thanks for listening. I'm Aditya Gidh, and I'd love to connect on LinkedIn or like spend some time for questions now. Yeah.
So how can you show a little bit
Yeah.
more details about it? Sorry.
So I have an index, like I said, commander.js was one of the libraries that I use with JavaScript. So here is the way the commands go through in the CLI wrapper. So I have a log analyzer. It's called the AI CLI with a description that gets printed out in your CLI. You have a log analyzer out here, which does certain things. It has a performance auditor out here. So these are three separate commands that I showed as a part of the demo. But inside out here, every file has its own rules engine and it does like a bunch of pre-processing things and then also has like a cache maintained for every command that you run. So you don't need to rerun that multiple commands, send multiple requests to the AI model, saves you time. And yeah, so this code will be available online. You can add bugs to it or even contribute to it. And yeah, three different commands. You could extend this to a bigger workflow. So just wanted to show on like how one CLI tool can help you save time by like doing performance auditing, accessibility auditing, log analyzing in like a single workflow without leaving the terminal.
Yeah, I had a follow-up question. How are we using LangChain here?
So we're using LangChain and it has a bunch of schemas that I've created. So you could see a bunch of, it's difficult to see with the light just hovering through here. Yeah, so in terms of the LangChain, it's the embeddings that I'm storing in, and then using I think an embedding model from LangChain. Yeah, so this file has things which align the schema well and like contain every command that you're passing through as a part of the CLI.
Okay, so for every CLI option, we'll have to do this part with LangChain as well.
A custom schema needs to be maintained because we need the workflow to give out the appropriate result.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want that result to be like a unanimous same prompt result coming through. That's why I've kept it really scoped specific to the workflow.
Got it.
But yeah, I mean, if there's a common workflow, then maybe a single prompt and other things could just be simple that way.
Got it. Thank you.